To escape an unwanted attacker, the girl jumped into the freezing water without a second thought. But the killer was no ordinary man. His sharp instincts led him straight after her. At that moment, only a thin wooden floor separated Lisa from her pursuer. If he had leaned down even slightly, he would have clearly seen her fear-stricken face. Panicked, Lisa held her breath, trying to control even the sound of her heartbeat. Seeing no other way out, she quietly swam toward the other end beneath the planks. But the faintest sound was enough to alert the killer. He slowly stepped directly above her. Lisa froze completely, yet she refused to give up. Taking a deep breath, she dove underwater again. Reaching the bottom, she grabbed tightly onto a rope tied to a stone pillar to prevent herself from floating up. The danger was far from over. The killer could not see her, but suspicion kept him lingering along the edge for a long time. If it continued any longer, Lisa would suffocate. Finally, when her lungs began to fail her, the killer left. But this was only the beginning of her true nightmare. As she rose to the surface for air, the rope suddenly tangled around her right ankle. She bent down to untie the knot, but it was a tight snare that refused to loosen. Lisa struggled upward with all her strength, dragging the rope with her, trying desperately to reach the surface. The more she fought, the tighter the noose seemed to pull, as if some dark force were dragging her into the depths. Gradually, after holding her breath for far too long, her body became still in the water. This was no ordinary accident. It was the result of a carefully planned conspiracy. At the root of it all was her father, James, who had served in the police force for 30 years and sent countless criminals to prison. Over time, he had made many enemies. Seeking revenge, those enemies hired a professional killer to deliver a brutal punishment within his own home. Tragically, James was away on a case at the time, and his daughter was alone. When James returned home, an eerie silence filled the air. He searched every corner of the boathouse but found no sign of Lisa. The moment his eyes fell on the murky water, the instinct of a seasoned police officer struck him with dread. It was both a policeman's intuition and a father's worst nightmare. He immediately called his colleagues. Soon, Lisa's cold, lifeless body was pulled from the water. Everyone labeled it an accidental drowning, but James knew his daughter's swimming abilities. He was certain this was no simple accident. When nearby security footage was reviewed, a suspicious figure lingering near the shore appeared on camera. And with that, the story of a calculated and ruthless act of revenge began to unfold.